This is complete and utter cope. That is the official from Lex throwing Leighton under the bus. What a manipulative, disgusting person that Lex is. It's unreal how manipulative this little disgusting little freak is. What an absolute scumbag this person is. Seriously. Okay, so yeah, there's been some developments to the Supermega situation. I think what happened was Turkey Tom spoke to Destiny about it. Destiny covered it. Lyric's video came out about it. Short Fat Otaku also did a video about it, and it led to some renewed discussion and scrutiny and conversation about the whole situation. What I was saying earlier is people are celebrating one development, which is that Lexupdog has taken down her original video, which people have been kind of, I guess, celebrating, I think. I don't know how you'd put it, but it seemed people were kind of happy about that development. And the problem for me is, like, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Like, that's, if anything, for me, it's annoying that someone can come out with, like, serious allegations. They can come up with, like, serious allegations, and they put that message out there. And then, you know, weeks later, they just remove that video or unlist it or whatever they've done with it. And all the allegations are still there. All of the discourse is still floating around. All of the conversation is still floating around. It's just that the original video is then just gone. So if anything, it's going to kind of limit the scrutiny or the criticism that she then receives. Although that being said, I believe the comments got switched off on the videos before this happened anyway. So at this point, it's like that's gone, but the shit about Supermega is still kind of floating about and being discussed, right? And it's good that there's new scrutiny and more people are talking about it again. And it does seem like the narrative has shifted quite a bit. And people are being more kind of like critical of the people that came out with the allegations. I'm all for that. That's good. The thing for me about it is that it's not even Supermega that got fucked over the most of all in all of this. It's Don. Don is absolutely the person that's got the shittiest end of the stick in all of this, because his allegation, people keep talking about how the allegations against him were verified by Supermega. That isn't actually what happened. Supermega came out and they, you know, they verified it on the basis that Lexupdog had told them that it happened. And they used it as kind of like a defense mechanism. So essentially, they kind of like threw him under the bus, you know, for the sake of their own reputation. So yeah, I just, you know, I look at it and I think, damn, Don has really been done dirty in this whole situation. Especially when Don is the person who got off the easiest. What are you talking about? He got off the easiest. That is completely delusional. He had to leave Twitter, presumably because he was getting inundated with replies shitting on him. He put up a Patreon post saying, I'm going to still try and get something out of this if I can. And people were shitting on him for that as well. What do you mean? Don is like fucking disappeared from the internet. If Supermega wanted to continue to make content, they could still make content. And this renewed conversation about it is only going to benefit them. You're on a different fucking planet. You're on a different fucking planet if you don't think that Don is the one that's got the shittiest end of the stick in all of this, right? You're acting like it's just leaving Twitter. He now has got the allegation hung round his neck, and every time he comes up, people are going to call him a fucking sexual assaulter or something like that. God, you people are so retarded, aren't you? I've got to be honest with you too. If you go and, like, when I first covered this, I think it was like late July. I think it was like late July, wasn't it? Right? I think it was late July. When I first covered this, it was like, you know, all the Supermega fans were against me. And now all the Supermega fans are like supporting Supermega again. But it's like, you know, they've consistently been against every single person that has come out that has offered criticisms. of the people coming out against Supermega. It's almost like this is your channel. This is your channel that you like. You like these guys making videos. Why are you so desperate to shit on them and just agree with all of the people that are like coming out to solicit and push these allegations that are completely bogus against you, against these guys that you apparently like? God, I would hate, you know, don't get me wrong, if I did something insane, if I did something illegal and was arrested for it and was charged with a crime and prosecuted for a crime, that's one thing. But at the very least, I would hope if some random fucking person came out with some allegations against me, my community would at least be reasonable about it and wouldn't immediately turn on me and start shitting on me without looking at all sides of the story and hearing me out as well. But that's exactly what their so-called fan base has done. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. Do you have something to tell us, Chud? No, well, I've experienced it before. I've had this exact thing happen to me on a much smaller scale, admittedly, where, you know, there's been like an allegation against me, and at the time, my core community, there's some people who were more reasonable, but there's a lot of people that just started kind of shitting on me and acting like it was all true and left and stuff like that. So, you know, whilst on the one hand, it's obviously great to see that there's this kind of reinvigorated conversation about it, and it's great to see more people speaking about it again, and it's great to see people be more critical and more scrutinizing, you know, Lexupdog, the Nick is not green guy, the Ethan guy as well. It's, you know, Lexupdog is just going to have deleted this video or privated this video or whatever she's done, and she can just kind of slink into the background, and all of the mess that's been left is still there. It's still there. It's still there to be, you know, to be dealt with. In fact, there's one video that I didn't watch because it's only a short video, but as I'm talking about it, I might as well watch it now. They released like an extremely short video talking about the future of Supermega. So, yes! Oh, advert. So this is their video. Let's have a little look, see what's what. Also, the other thing I think about this too is like, they're kind of making their own bed by like not just continuing to make content. It's a bit loud. Okay, I'll turn it down. Like, just keep making it, you'll be fine. Especially now with this recent conversation, you could probably put out a video right now and you'll be absolutely, you'd probably largely be okay. I know they've lost like what? I think they were over 1 million subs and they've lost a lot of subscribers. But the thing to bear in mind is the subscribers that they've lost are the people who like are not worth having in your audience anyway. You know, you're better off without those people in your audience. You know, cutting off some of the excess. These people that have stayed, apart from maybe the dead subs that probably exist on the channel, they're the people that are still going to support you. And I imagine the comments are probably like, you know, supporting and stuff like that, you know? So you might as well just keep going. You're kind of fucking yourself over by not just making content. So this is just saying what? We might return one day, or maybe we'll decide that's not what we want, only time will tell. So it's just like, it's kind of like something or nothing, isn't it? We might return, we might not. Well, they can return, they can still, it doesn't really matter. They could still come back. And if they've got enough money, they don't need to. Well, that's their thing, isn't it? You know, but like, they don't need to not make content. There's enough people out there, especially now with this renewed focus on it. There's absolutely loads of people that would support them, if only because they feel they've been wronged in some way. We'll be sure to let you guys know. We're gonna okay. When I see stuff like this, I'm just like, yeah, I'm I kind of want to spitefully flip to the other side almost. I don't know. It just comes across as so cringe to me. Is the music? What is the music? Is it video game music? I don't want to get clapped for it. I mean, we don't even need it to be fair, so we can just turn it off. We'll post the final bits of content we had and a more detailed update over on our Patreon. We figured the folks who stuck around on there deserve something nice. Unreleased song and music video clips. Okay. Whatever that is. Final 2 unreleased episodes of Supermega Cast and After Hours. Unreleased mail video and extended cut. Okay, this is their content. Video tour of what would have been our new office. Okay. Plus a much more detailed update, a look at our D&D show, final Q&A video, and more. This has been our dreams as we're kids. Okay. Truly sorry we don't have a more concrete answer. We need time to reflect, grow, and focus on our lives outside the internet. The two of us will always remain best friends, super mega or not. Stay in school. Thank you for everything. Till next time, friends. There we go. Is that it? Looks like that's it. Okay. Where's the Patreon post? Is it accessible? Can I see it? Recent posts. Polaroids, unreleased mailroom. I don't know if the post is here. It's just the videos they were talking about. Unreleased mailroom. Dungeons and Dragons. Unreleased. Unreleased. I would have thought they'd made their text post for everyone, though. I guess they're just keeping it. Oh, here we go. We got it. 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 Okay. 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 So this is the more substantive post, apparently. Very G6 energy, true. We've missed you guys, and we know you all understandably have a lot of questions about the future of Supermega. We want to take a moment to give you all an official update on the state of things. So first and foremost, what is the future of Supermega? Well, to rip off the band-aid, the truth is that we do not have any definitive plans, one way or another, about the future of Supermega. We've been asking ourselves many of the same questions that you've been asking us over the last few weeks. In our eyes, it would not be right for us to continue to put new content on the channel without genuinely reflecting on our past and contemplating what we want for the future. This could mean resuming the channel in the future, taking a lengthy hiatus, or deciding to say goodbye for good. We simply haven't had enough time to process everything and come back to a decision that feels right for our fans, our loved ones, and our mental health. We know that the lack of concrete decision will be disappointing to some, and we really do apologise for this. I mean, this just seems to be repeating what they put in. I mean, this just seems to be the same as what they put in the video. Honestly, this feels like an effort to get people to subscribe to the Patreon. I've got to say, it feels like it's like, yeah, come on, guys, come over to the Patreon and have a look. Hoping to get some of those sympathy Patreon bucks. We've seen a lot of requests for us to make our completed but unreleased content available on our Patreon. We felt it was only right to show the people still supporting us on this page that what we had been up to. Over the next day or so, we'll be posting the final pieces of content that remain in our reserves. This will include some of the projects that we've been working on, our finished videos that we never got to release, and some updates about what our plans were. We hope that by releasing this behind-the-scenes look at stuff, you all can see that we were truly more excited about Supermega than ever, and we couldn't wait to show everyone what we were cooking up in this new chapter ahead. My gut instinct here is they've already decided that they're going to make a comeback. I think that they're probably already thinking about the comeback plan, and they're saying this to kind of like Think of an OnlyFans whore, okay? Think of an OnlyFans whore, and they don't show everything. They just show like a bikini picture or something like that. And then they tease out that there's going to be something more, and then it doesn't happen. And eventually they do release the something more. And then it's like, oh my God, I can see this bitch's asshole now. Let's go. Yes, please. Sign me up. I think it's a similar concept where they're kind of like teasing it a bit so that they can come back to like a big bombastic return to their content and stuff like that. Yeah, or like the streamer that does the, oh, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Anyway, we are so grateful for all of you who continue to support us through your Patreon subscriptions, and we please ask that you do not share this content on other platforms. Bottom line, we wanted to provide some additional content for those who are supporting us through a Patreon subscription. We understand that you might choose not to maintain your Patreon subscription, but for those who choose to stick around after the curtain call, whether for access to all the content or simply just show support, we appreciate it beyond belief. Okay, I think the soliciting further Patreon support is a valid observation then. Regardless of your choice, thank you to those who are currently or ever were in the past a subscriber, a patron, or just a fan of the dumb shit we made. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Without you guys, we wouldn't have been able to spend so many years creating and having fun. It's been a hell of a ride up to this point, and you've given two dumbasses from South Carolina the ultimate gift of allowing us to share our lives, content, and friendship with you, while getting to do our favorite thing in the world, create. For this, we will always be immensely grateful. Should any decisions be made moving forward, we'll make sure to share them openly. However, for now, we're signing off. Thank you again to everyone who has supported us on this journey. Your uncles, Matthew and Ryan, will always love you. Farewell, freaks. Take it easy, and don't forget to bathe. Okay. I feel like these guys deserve more criticism for throwing Don under the bus, I must say. I feel like there's not really much other choice they could have made. I just hate reading this, and they're being like very kind of like self-victimization-y, which there's some validity to that because they've been unfairly and unreasonably attacked. But it's like, what about Don? What about Don? You know, Don is just fucking desperately trying to cobble together his fucking art shit off the back of a very dubious allegation. And they're like, oh, we don't know if we're going to be back or not. And I'm guessing they know very well that they are going to be back, and that's why they've worded it in this way. Okay, there's a lot of Reddit posts, and some are infuriating me already. I just want to find Lex's response. Here we go. This is it. Redditors are subhuman, obviously. Right, what's this? So these are Lex's final thoughts. I'm guessing this is the YouTube video comment that's been edited, right? Okay. If you're reading this, this is now unlisted because it no longer needs to be up, as it has served this purpose, which was getting my message to people that mattered to me after a long time of not having been okay. If you want, why would you not just tell them personally? Why do you need to do a YouTube video in order to do that? The ability to talk about what ultimately led me to being emotionally devastated for a very long time, affecting many important aspects of my life, hence part of why I spoke out about the aftermath of the assault so much. This is complete and utter cope. This is complete and utter cope. You can go and look at footage of her on a retarded boyfriend stream, that Ethan dude, celebrating as Supermega's sub count went down. Okay? It's this idea of I talked about it so much because the emotional devastation is complete and utter cope. She spoke about it because she wanted to fuck with Supermega, because she had a nose pat out of joint with some of the stuff that happened. There was absolutely no reason to include all the stuff she did in her video about Supermega. No reason whatsoever. Especially when you actually look at the facts of the matter and you realise that she presented it in a very dishonest way and very deceptive way to make Supermega look way worse than they actually were in practice. When I was assaulted before when I was 17, I wasn't believed by my close friends. So being believed by them is the most precious thing I could ask for. I felt so relieved being able to know that people now knew why I wasn't acting like myself. This is, okay. Obviously, the assault was 17. That's bad. I don't know the nature of that. Okay, I don't want to speak on that too much. I don't fucking know what is the truth or not of that. But this element of, you know, people not knowing why I wasn't acting like myself, who is going to know that except for your closest friends? Again, this doesn't really give a justification. This doesn't really give a justification as to releasing this video publicly to so many people, because if your concern is being believed by your close personal friends, you would just speak to them on an individual level about it and say, hey, this is what happened, and they'd probably believe you if they're your friends, you know? So is the assault from Don 100% confirmed? Basically, well, I've already got fucking hours of content about this if you want to know my full take, okay? It is the Jordan Peterson situation of you need to go and watch the hours of coverage I've done to get my opinion. But I'll just give you a quick rundown summary now, okay? I don't believe that what was described was sexual assault, no. What was described, taking her story into account, taking his story into account, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. It sounds more so like an awkward sexual encounter, more so than it being a genuine instance of sexual assault, okay? By her story, Don wanted to engage in a sex act and pushed her head down to try and get her to do it until eventually, you know, she verbally said that she didn't want to do it. And then it stopped. By Don's account, he'd asked earlier in the day whether he could have the sex act performed on him. She'd said no. He asked again later. She said yes. And in the course of it, he touched her head in a way that apparently made her uncomfortable, which led to the act stopping, which led to them then, you know, hanging out and watching movies together or something like that, right? And then talking about what happened. And even beyond that story, there's other kind of elements to it which really call into question kind of her actions, such as the fact that following this supposed assault, she continued to stay with him for the rest of the week. They then went their separate ways and lived apart. They were only together for like a week at someone's house. They then continued with this kind of online relationship, including like her hanging out with him regularly. And then at the first creator clash, she was at an Airbnb and she invited him round. And it was then that she said to him, you sexually assaulted me and I'm splitting up with you. So, you know, if you want my full, you know, if you want my full coverage, there's videos on my channel about it. It's the one with all the controversial thumbnails that people didn't like that you can see, okay? Anyway, I'm so thankful to be believed by so many, despite me going on for too long about too many different things. My perspective was that if I talked about so many things, that no one could say something like, Lex made this up, because too many things happened that I couldn't have even dreamt of making up, rather than just being really vague about what happened. So many things that no one could say something like, Lex made this up. But the trouble with this is that it's not a case that she's just making things up wholesale. It's not a case that she is just concocting things out of literally nothing as fake stories. It's the element of embellishing or telling a very heavily biased side of it from her perspective, right? That is the problem. That is the issue. Because yes, they did meet up. Yes, they did engage in a sex act. Okay? The dispute is over whether or not that sex act constituted sexual assault. And even by her own description, it doesn't really seem to constitute sexual assault, you know? So it's not a problem that she's just making things up wholesale. If you move to like the Supermega part of the story where she's talking about the experiences that she had there, you know, again, it's not the case that she's just making things up out of nothing. She's taking situations and embellishing them and telling her own very biased side of the story to make the other party look as bad as possible. In doing that made my sorry hard to understand for many. Okay, well in doing that made my sorry hard to understand for many. Okay, I don't. Giving people who had no reason to be charitable a reason to outright disbelieve me. Oh, story. Okay, yeah. In doing that made my story hard to understand for many, giving people who had no reason to be charitable a reason to outright disbelieve me. It also doesn't help that I have an individual around me who has made this worse for me by taking my trust in them for granted, by using it as a platform to say a lot of really not okay things while I was out seeing a movie. Okay, so there it is, guys. That is the official from Lex throwing Leighton under the bus. Okay? This is the sign for me of what a manipulative, disgusting person that Lex is. Because, you know, she knows that Leighton got a lot of flack and got heavily criticized in Supermega's response, okay? You can compare this to how she spoke about Leighton before there was a lot of public outcry and attention and people were sort of siding more with Supermega and Leighton. It was very different. But now it's reached a stage where she can just easily pass the buck onto Leighton and put it all onto his shoulders. What that's in relation to is there's messages from the Supermega Discord that go back to when this kind of happened. And she claimed that because Leighton's stream was kind of initially, even from the start, was somewhat being criticized by people. And she said, oh, well, I wasn't in chat. I was watching a movie, so I wasn't really able to like speak on it at the time. And she had at least some insight into what Leighton was going to do. She had some insight into that. This idea now that she's like, oh, you just made it worse. You're telling me that Leighton didn't give you insight into all of the stuff he was going to claim before. That's complete and utter bullshit. That is complete and utter bullshit coat. So she's basically using the controversy around Leighton to kind of shift it. She's trying to shift it away from her and make it so that, you know, Leighton is now the bad guy of the story, you know? Bear in mind, they're supposed to be friends as well, apparently. Leighton is supposed to be friends with her. Bear in mind, too, bear in mind as well, Leighton, okay, let me find the message. Let me find the message that shows this. This is wild, man. God, she's such a it's unreal. It's unreal how manipulative this little disgusting little freak is. I'm just seeing Mr. Beard's tweets pop up. Mr. Beard has quit the internet now. Here we go. So these messages are from closer to the time of Leighton's stream. Okay? So bear in mind what she's saying now. It also doesn't help that I have an individual around me who has made things worse for me by taking my trust in them for granted, by using it as a platform to say a lot of really not okay things while I was out seeing a movie. So this is a message from around the time this happened. God, she's such a little fucking puppet master pulling the strings. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's just a thing he's going to have to deal with, referring to Leighton and the pushback on the Leighton stream. I got mad at him and told him, and he instantly apologized and deleted his social apps for now, so we won't be talking anymore for now, so he's respecting my wishes, which is all I really need right now. So at the time, she put pressure on Leighton, which then led to him deleting his social media apps so he couldn't speak on it anymore at the time, right? Essentially fucking gagging himself because of pressure from her, right? And now, here she is, completely throwing him under the bus. What an absolute fucking scumbag bitch this person is. Seriously. So at the time, different tone. Oh, you know, he said some things, and oh, now he's not speaking on it though, which is good. He's respecting my wishes. To this, completely and utterly chucking the guy under the bus. And the thing is, as well, is I don't like this Leighton guy. This Leighton guy's a little skeezy fuck as well. But it just speaks to the fact that, you know, Lex is someone in this situation who is clearly, you know, talking to people behind the scenes, talking to Leighton at the time, getting him to stop talking about it because his video ended up not going down as well as it should have done. It's unreal, man. Anyway, what else have we got here? I would have never talked if I knew something like that would happen because it has seriously made me regret saying anything despite the relief I felt prior. Just just getting the boot into Leighton even more there. Fuck me. Also, the other thing to bear in mind with that too is, again, it wasn't like this was a surprise to her. She must have known that Leighton was going to come forward and talk about all of this, and she must have had some insight into what he was going to say before he did the stream. I refuse to believe that she was totally clueless of the kinds of things that Leighton was going to say. Anyway, I genuinely didn't expect this to get as big as it did. You're talking about like a 1 million sub YouTube channel. And so this is also why I'm unlisting the video as well. I very rarely upload to this channel. Check the other uploads. I use it like a time capsule and place... I upload long messages like life updates to archive them. And still don't to be honest, really know how the YouTube algorithm works to know if it would have blown up like it did. Being more familiar with the site now, I would have left it without comments and unlisted from the very beginning if I were more familiar with the website than I was before uploading this. I linked this video to my smaller Twitter account closer tied with Don versus all my social media, thinking that the people on my Twitter were pretty much the main people that would have seen it, maybe even less. If you compare the views to my other videos, you can see why I thought this. So she's basically using this idea that she only wanted people close to Don to know. But if it was all about Don, why on earth would you talk about Supermega at all? This is the repeated thing that you hear from the people that came out with these criticisms, right? Okay. Is they constantly talk about how this was all supposed to be about Don. Well, if it's about Don, why are you even bringing Supermega into this? I mean, you know, obviously, I'm very fucking skeptical about the allegation as it is, but you would make a video about the allegation for Don, and then if you felt you had some bad stuff to say about Supermega, you would make a separate video about Supermega, but you combined it all because you wanted to link the two together so that the anger that people felt about this so-called sexual assault would feed into the Supermega stuff because they were the fucking bad guys. They were the fucking bad guys in the story that you really wanted to hurt and you really wanted to attack on top of Don. Supermega fans are full of SJWs. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, haven't they knocked about with Hassan and people like that? Yeah, this is just like using this kind of ditzy, oh, I didn't know how it worked situation. It's like you're putting out a video about someone, including Supermega, who are a big YouTube channel. The idea that you had no idea this was going to get as big as it is absurd to me. My intention was to get my message about Don immediately completed and believed, and talk about Is she saying that it was immediately believed, or that she wanted it to be immediately believed? And talk about what happened after that. Unfortunately, led to me see him again, which is what. My intention was to get any message. I'm fucking it up now. My intention was to get my message about Don immediately completed and believed, and talk about what happened after that unfortunately led to me see him again, which is what led to a lot of interpersonal chaos that I learned wasn't necessary explaining in detail or even at all to be believed. I think what she's saying is, again, this is the other kind of aspect of this. Like, I feel like she's trying to say she felt she had to explain all the detail to be believed. Is that right? This just seems to me it was obviously about attacking Supermega. A big part of this was obviously about attacking Supermega. Now there's been more scrutiny and discussion and conversation about it. Okay. I feel like she's realizing that the Supermega stuff doesn't really have that many legs. So she's trying to almost like cut that part of it off and have that float away and hold on to the allegations against Don. Like, she still wants that to stick. And she still wants that to stick. She still wants to hold on to that, which is probably going to work because a lot of people still believe that Don's shit is just 100% correct. But she wants the Supermega stuff to kind of float away and not be associated with her anymore because of how badly it's gone. When originally she wanted it to be an attack on Supermega. So she's got to come up with all of this reasoning and all of these excuses as to why she included so much of the stuff about Supermega. And it doesn't really sit right and it doesn't really make sense, you know? You would have to be a massive retarded simp to sit here and read this and think, oh yeah, this justifies why you spent the majority of your video talking about Supermega. Like, it doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. It's that she wanted to shit on Supermega. It's now turned against her quite badly, and she's desperately trying to cut that aspect of the criticism off whilst holding on to the Don part of the story. That's what it seems like to me, at least. I've always seen online that many things can lead people to not believe victims, and I felt so scared about not being believed that I thought it was more believable to mention more things than less, and hadn't considered it would have muddied the water instead. Just tell the fucking truth, you stupid bitch. You wanted to shit on Supermega. The worm has now turned. It's turned against you. And you're desperately trying to distance yourself from that and come up with all these excuses as to why you decided to include such a large portion of just shitting on Supermega in the video. God, she's like... She's possibly one of the most, like, despicable people that I've seen in one of these types of situations. She is, like, just an absolutely rotten person to her core. But the problem is, you know, we live in an age where women are... to scrutinize a woman or criticize a woman is considered a crime in and of itself. So, you know. If some things I've said in this edit wasn't a tell, I've been feeling very introspective lately, and this situation's aftermath has made it obvious I have a lot to learn about in general, but especially having better judgment for myself, and in that I need to meet new people who won't take advantage of me because I can be really gullible and think everyone has my best interest at heart, even in situations where I shouldn't. I hope everyone has a nice day. If you see this and got to here, thanks so much for reading. Yeah, perhaps don't put out completely dubious allegations to try and destroy people's careers in the future. That might be worth something. That might be worth considering. God, I hate the fact that, you know, one aspect that is true is she is going to scuttle away without you know, I mean, I hate the. The thing is, the trouble with this is I don't want it to turn into the opposite. Do you know what I mean? I don't want it to turn into like I'm calling for blood for this person. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not really about that, right? I don't. I just wish there was some way that this person could, you know, like they're going to be surrounded by people around them that are just yes men and shit like that, and are probably all backing her up and fucking gassing her up and stuff like that. You know. Exactly. It's like, that's it. She'll get away with it, right? And I don't know what the other solution looks like. I feel like it's more just court of public opinion shit. And I think that stuff's stupid. But it feels like she'll just scuttle away and that's it, you know? Whereas with people like Nick is Not Green and that Ethan guy, they to a degree are going to like kind of get away with stuff. But the reality of it is at some point, the beast is going to turn on them. The court of public opinion will turn on them. And whilst I would still offer a defense if it's worthwhile, it's going to be funny to watch at least, you know? Like I've seen it happen before where people who are like very for the court of public opinion and shitting on people and tearing people apart, when the worm turns and it comes back on them, it's very funny to watch, you know? But, you know, Lex is probably at very little risk of that because she's a woman on the internet. Yeah. DJ Mule. I spoke a bit about this earlier. There was this like, it's a random story, but there was like, there was this Twitter anarchist guy who was always getting on top of allegations and going after people. And then some allegations came out against him and he was kind of toast. Like there was nothing he could do or say because he'd always put, I think he'd even tweeted out about how grapists should be redacted. Like he was talking about how grapists should, you know, be. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Now you are the grapist. So what? You gonna blank yourself? Anyway. Yeah. Like I say, it's not this to me, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. She can enlist the video all she wants, but she's kind of come out and, you know, caused all these problems with a bullshit video. Now she just gets to slink away. I don't know. It just feels so unfair. It feels so unbearably unfair, doesn't it? You know, the Supermega guys, although it is partly their fault, they're not making content and they've done some shitty things themselves, like throwing Don under the bus. That being said, you know, they've been kind of fucked over in a few ways by this. The Don guy has like scuttled away. Sorry, I don't. He hasn't scuttled away. What I mean, I'm getting mixed up, guys. It's my Alzheimer's. It's my fucking Alzheimer's fucking kicking in. Okay, the Don guy has like left Twitter. He's put a Patreon post out. Okay, and he's like just desperately trying to claw onto whatever fucking online thing he can. Even that Patreon post that he put out, people put it onto the subreddit and were shitting on him. It's like they wanted complete and total utter destruction for the guy. That's what makes it so unbearably unfair. People want complete and total utter destruction for Don. They want him squashed like a bug from the internet. They want him completely and utterly wrecked and destroyed. Because that's the nature of these scorpions, okay? These scorpions want to destroy Don. But I'm sat here because I'm a nice guy, okay? And I'm like, even though I think Lexupdog is a horrendous, terrible, disgusting person, you know, I don't want the kind of same in response. Do you know what I mean? It's just unfortunate that she's going to get away completely scot-free with all of this, you know? That's what's so unbearably fair about it. Everyone wants Don destroyed. But even me, in all of my distaste and disgust for this person, wouldn't ever want to see someone completely squashed from the internet like that, you know? And there's no chance of her getting that even if I did want that, you know? Whereas Don, obviously, is just kind of fucked. I don't know. I don't know if there's any update. Well, you can speak for yourself, obviously, in chat if you feel differently about it. But, you know. People ask what the comments are like. I don't really care about what Redditors think, to be honest. I just wanted to read this statement. We live in an age where someone can come forward with allegations, and that in itself is enough to just immediately assume they're correct and issue complete and utter social destruction on the person that's getting accused. And there's nothing that you can really do to stop it or prevent it from happening, you know? Even if there's some respite, like there's still a lasting harm that you just can't rub off. And in Don's case, well, Don is, you know, just essentially crushed, right? So yeah, it just feels so desperately unfair. But hey, what can you do? I just don't like the endless affirmation by Supermega for Lex. Well, it's changed a bit. There's some posts that are criticizing Lex on the subreddit now. But the problem is when Supermega came out with their responses, they just totally and utterly threw Don under the bus. So they kind of teed up their audience to endlessly affirm and justify the allegations against Don siding with Lex. I said earlier, if Don, listen, Don, if you happen to be listening to this and you want to come on and tell your story, okay, in a male in a male appropriate environment, then yeah, I'm there for you, okay, and for the content. Don't get me wrong, but how do you avoid a woman like Lexupdog before disaster scenario? On the first date, you need to ask the woman if they're on treatment for any mental health issues. And if the answer to that is yes, don't even listen further to the response. Immediately walk out. Don't look back. Okay. No. Wait. That's a bit unfair. I think one aspect is just don't get involved with e-girls. Like, I know that sounds insane, but like, just don't. E-girls are more trouble than they're worth. Even that fucking other whore. What's her name? The fucking porn star one. The porn star one that one of the Supermega guys had sex with. Morgue Pie. Yeah, that fucking whore, right? Even getting involved with her was a mistake because she, after the original video came out with a story to further add to the pylon on the Supermega guys, even though the reality of it is, when you heard it from the other side, what Morgpie said was completely bogus and total bullshit. This idea that, like, he'd done something terrible to her was completely fucking bogus. All that had happened is they'd had, like, a kind of, like, fling between relationships on his part. That was it. And she made out like he'd done something terrible to her. It's ridiculous. But that, at the time, and this is the thing, at the time, people were seeing red and they wanted blood. So they all jumped on and took Morgpie's story, and it further added to this pile on the Supermega guys. Why don't more people talk about how Rav said there was more context to the situation between Don and Lex, seemingly in Don's favour? Everyone just glosses over that. Because Don has been determined to be a sexual assaulter, and that's it. That's all that's needed. A woman said someone is a sexual assaulter, so they're a sexual assaulter. That's it. And you notice as well, all of the people that are saying, oh, well, the story got verified. No, it didn't. The story never got fucking verified because all the people that are apparently verifying it are verifying it off the back of Lexupdog saying it happened. Because if you go and read Don's side of it, yes, admittedly, he was a bit soy in his response, sure. But it's quite clear that his telling of it is not sexual assault from his perspective at all. So all of these claims that it is indeed a sexual assault are coming from Lex. There's no okay. Anyway, we need to chill a bit with the misogyny. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. We need to relax, okay? Yes, swing set mafia is correct. Yes, if yeah. So the thing is, you know, Supermega attribute their lack of quick response to the fact that obviously Don's story was different, but then they kind of reaffirm this idea that he did do the thing, and they should have acted sooner. Da 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 da. But quite clearly, it seems pretty evident to me that what happened is Lex said that the thing happened in the worst possible way and acted like it was sexual assault. Asked Don. Don was like, "Well, that's not what happened." The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but obviously it's 2023. You've got to side with the woman, or you're a rape apologist. Yeah, and the thing is Don, people didn't look at it in. It was Don is a sexual assaulter. I've even saw people calling Don a rapist. Didn't that fucking Nick is not green loser? He called Don a rapist in his video, didn't he? Crazy, absolutely crazy. Predator, called him a predator. Yeah, mental. Anyway, like I say, that's just a little update on the Supermega situation. If you want to see my coverage that I watched all. I'm not sure. I think most of it got put into YouTube content that was worth watching. Yeah, it's all up there. Crazy. Good to see this refreshed scrutiny on it, but sadly, the true victim in all of this, Don, is completely out of the story now, and it's obviously all about Supermega and them getting fucked over. Which, yeah, they did, but in doing so, they also fucked Don over. Don is basically at the bottom of the barn in all of this. Yeah, Nick. I mean, Nick is not green is your typical like soy, leftoid, believe all women, immediately jump on and believe all allegations, do not scrutinize them, push them as if they're true. It's cancer. It's absolute fucking cancer. All of it is so cancerous. And I'm sorry to say, this is the way the internet is going. It's been going this way. It is going this way. And it's only going to get fucking worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, the reality is if you're like a dude that does internet stuff in any capacity, you are best off completely disassociating your personal relationship life from any internet stuff and going and finding some normie to date. It's just not, it's honestly just not worth the hassle. It's not worth the risk. I personally, well, yeah, I mean, obviously the right have got their own issues in other ways, but this is this kind of like pushing of false allegations. Well, I don't even want to say like I mean this is fresh in my memory because I watched a video about it recently. But remember James Gunn? James Gunn got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy because Mike Cernovich dug up old tweets of his saying edgelord stuff about kids and posted it. That was fucking the right wing that did that. So it is absolutely both sides that are capable of this kind of like ruination via digging up old tweets or dubious allegations and stuff like that. Yeah, that was pretty despicable. But yeah, it's just I think people people see someone they don't like for some reason or think there's some justification in going after them and they'll do whatever they can to fuck with them. It's kind of crazy. How is it different? I mean, obviously the mechanism of it is different, but what I mean is like that's cancel culture as well, right? One is a false allegation. Well, no. Mike Cernovich was trying to claim that James Gunn was some risk to kids, wasn't he? It wasn't just, oh, look at these old tweets, look at these old Eddie jokes. He was obviously sharing them to push the idea that he was like some danger to kids. Obviously working on a Disney film, right? I would say I think it probably, yeah, the right does do it, but I think if you were to look at a lot of these things, it does tend to come from the left. Like there's more behavior from the left that is going to be objectionable to be cancelled over, right? What's this? Queef jerky. Oh god, what is this shit, man? Pineapple upside down. Is this the one they released at the time?
I need white noise to sleep. I need a sleep mask on me. I shoot my gun like pow pow pow. I shoot my shout like how are yow. Salmon's a superfood. Salmon's a superfood. You are just super rude. I took a super nude for $5. How about you? I'm on prime time TV. I eat a prime rib early. I eat just to feed me. I eat just cause I need me. Pineapple upside down, down in the toilet. I make a brown guy in the pineapple upside down, down in the toilet. I make a brown guy in the throw a stones toss all across the creek, and I do it every day, Monday through Friday.
If Nick is not green killed himself tomorrow, there would be way more people that would celebrate that than be sad. Now, I'm not saying he should do it, okay? Listen, suicide is bad and all of that. Just pointing out that I'd see a lot of fucking positivity on Twitter if that were to happen, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm pointing out.
Every week, and I do it every month, March, February,
Alright, I'm about to go in. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all, actually.
I go to Naples, pineapple upside down, yeah, in the
I mean, this is the other thing as well. This is so incestuous, isn't it? It's all so incestuous. They're all fucking pals with each other.
I go to Naples, pineapple
That's this fucking that's the Ethan guy, isn't it? That's Lexupdog's boyfriend. It's also fucking incestuous. I can't watch any more of this anyway. This is sickening to me. Anyway, there we go. Oh, there was another aspect to this actually. I don't know if Lyrics talks about this in their video. This is something I put out at the time as well, but it's this it's this kind of idea that, and there's no hard proof of this, obviously, it's just a Discord message from a hater, a Supermega hater Discord. But this idea that there was commentary talking about, or messages talking about Leighton wanting to cancel Supermega, but someone else needed to come out first. Which is exactly what happened. Lexupdog came out with her video about it. And then Leighton came out with this video shitting on Supermega. Like, this is exactly what happened. What was discussed in this Discord ahead of time. But there's not enough proof of it, unfortunately. But yeah. Anyway, that is it. That is the updated Supermega situation. I don't really have anything more to say about it.